just a teeny bit lower. Jackson is my.
Attendees and guests, our program is about to begin. Please find your seats. Please welcome Miami Mayor and the President of the United States Conference of Mayors, Francis Suarez.
I would ask you guys to stand up, but I'm not going to do that to you. Good morning and welcome to the official opening session of the 90th annual meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. It is my honor to acknowledge our officers. Second Vice President and First Vice President Hillary Shivi of Reno. Our past presidents, Mayor Elizabeth Couts of Burnsville, Mayor Brian Barnett of Rochester Hills. Over under on whether he's here. What's the over under? Is he here? Oh, there he is. Proud of you, brother, proud of you. Mayor Greg Fisher, Louisville. Greg. And our CEO and Executive Director, Tom Cochran. Where are you, Tom? Thank you for giving them all a round of applause. I appreciate it. And now, please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Reno Police and Fire Department. The national anthem will now be sung by Jennifer Grant. After the national anthem, please remain standing as the color guard recedes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. You can have a seat now. Dr. Cesar Minera of World of Life Ministries will now deliver the invocation.
Good morning, Madam Mayor Shivi and distinguished mayors from our country. I would like to thank all of you for coming to join us to what we warmly call the biggest little city in the world. Truly, all cities are equally important. Our cities are the hubs where we work, where we socialize, where we raise our families. And more than ever, America needs safe and strong cities. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, in the precious name of Jesus, we thank you for every single mayor of this great country. We pray for them, for their families. We pray that you would give them the wisdom to lead their particular cities, just like the scripture says, in a godly way, so that we can live in peace. The scripture also tells us that we should pray for the city to which we have been sent, because if our city prospers, we also would prosper. Bless them, keep them healthy, give them wisdom so they can lead with righteousness and justice. In the precious name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Minera. Now we will have Tribal Chairman Arlen Melendez, the chairman of the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, who will now deliver a tribal blessing.
First of all, I want to welcome all of the mayors from throughout the United States, all our elected officials that are here, and we welcome you to the homelands of the Paiute and the Washoe and the Shoshone people of Nevada. There are 27 tribes and bands in the state of Nevada, and on behalf of the Intertribal Council of Nevada, we want to welcome you to the Truckee Meadows and to the city of Reno, Sparks also. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Minera for that wonderful prayer. We're in certain times, that we're in. All of us face that, whether we're tribal governments or whether or not we're city officials or congressional people or county commissioners or whatever it may be. We're in this together. I think we need to be united more than ever in times like these. And as we face COVID and just about everything you can think of, wars across the world, we need to be united. We need to love one another. So my blessing for you today on behalf of all of the Native American tribes is that you will seek unity, that we will be able to reason together, work together, come together in trying times like this. So the blessing to you is that you are in good health, that we pray for you every day. Our elders used to say, from the rising of the sun, when we wash our face in the morning, we give thanks to the Creator, to the time that we go to bed, and we give thanks to the Creator for taking us throughout the day. So with that, that's a blessing from all of the tribes in the state of Nevada, that you'd have a safe journey, that you would have protection, that everything will work well for you throughout your stay here in Reno. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Melendez. That was very beautiful. Now it is my pleasure to introduce a shining light in our organization and a true believer in the power of arts and culture to transform cities and the people who live in them. We have this mayor and her team to thank for their tireless work in hosting this annual meeting. Please join me in welcoming the mayor of this bright and beautiful city, our first and second vice president, Mayor Hillary Sheevy.
All right, how are you guys doing? Oh my gosh, sit down, sit down. You're so kind. Oh my gosh. All right, well, welcome to Reno. I think I've done this 3 or 4 times now, so I think you're probably sick of it, but you know how enthusiastic I am about my city and about the Conference of Mayors. I'm just curious, how did everyone do last night? Raise your hands if you won some money. I'm gonna hang out with you. Where are you? Raise your hand. Well, anyway, we've been off to a great start, and thank you, Mr. President. Mayor Suarez, you're amazing. I'm so lucky to work with you, and truly it's an honor, my friend, so thank you very much. Again, welcome to the biggest little city. I can't wait to show you guys the National Bowling Stadium tonight. That is going to be a blast. You know, a lot of success in Reno does not happen with one person. All of you guys know that as mayors. I could never do what I do without incredible local and regional partners and state partners. A good friend of mine, Congressman Amade, is here with us. I'm so glad because he's got a crazy schedule. We all know how our congressmen have crazy busy schedules. But I wanted to introduce him because he has been such a great, great partner to the city of Reno. And not to mention, many of you guys know I am a nonpartisan, and it is just so nice to work with people that truly do reach across the aisle. So I want to welcome my very good friend, Congressman Mark Amade. There you go, there you go. I was gonna say, did you bail on me? No, okay, come up. I'd love for you to say a few words, and please welcome all my mayors.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just had to do that. Listen, when the mayor's office reached out and they said, "Hey, we're having this gathering of the Your Honors from across the nation in Reno, and would you like to come?" And I'm like, "Really? Why would you want me to come?" And she said, "Well, we don't want you to say anything. We'd just like you to be there and just kind of walk through. But since the president of the organization is a little more attractive than you are, we'd like to give him most of the time on the..." So I've just got a couple things. First of all, I want to echo the mayor's welcome to Nevada's original congressional district. Is there anybody here, are the mayors from Las Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, anybody like that here?
No, they're all running campaigns.
Okay, good. But I'd have said it if you were here. No offense, Mayor Goodman and stuff like that. We have a saying here in Nevada. If you've just been to Las Vegas, you haven't been to Nevada. You folks have all been to Nevada. Thank you very much. Final thing I want to tell you is this. I haven't looked at your bylaws, but I'm sure there's some sort of violation of this organization's bylaws when somebody can simultaneously be the first and second vice chair. What's up with that? Where's the parliamentarian when you need him? Enjoy your time here in the Truckee Meadows. You've got a great host. You're at a great facility. And we couldn't be prouder here in the real Nevada that you're here. Have a good time.
I always say he missed his calling. He should have been in comedy. He is truly one of the funniest people in politics. You really are. All right, so this conference would not have happened without really incredible people. At the Reno Sparks and Visitors Convention Authority this, honestly, they helped me put this together. They sponsored it. I have a tremendous board over there, and the chair, Bob Lucy, is here to welcome you. I am so lucky. He's a county commissioner. So you guys all know this. You have to work with your counterparts, and I'm just really fortunate to work with someone that believes in travel and tourism and bringing this conference to us, because honestly, you guys know this, when you go out there and say, I want to bring the Conference of Mayors, I think people start to think about politics and what that looks like, and I just have to say my board was like, we would be so honored, and that would not be possible without the work of Commissioner Bob Lucy. Please come and say a few words. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Well, awesome. Well, I mean, what an introduction, especially from somebody as eloquent as your mayor. You know, welcome everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Reno. We really are excited to have you. It's going to be a phenomenal conference for you. But first off, I want to say, you know, thank you to all of you for the service that you do for your cities, your states, and your country. I don't think enough people tell you that as mayors and elected officials and what you do really do make a difference within your areas and your region, and I can't thank you enough for that. You know, it's been some difficult years. It's nice to be back in public, and we're back in seeing each other by face to face, and what a great way to do that other than here in the biggest little city. And we, on behalf of Reno Tahoe, Reno Sparks, and the entire area, we want to welcome you to Reno. We want you to see the beautiful jewels. Mayor Sheevy has worked her tail off, I can tell you, over the last 3 years, really trying to put this conference together. And at the RSCVA, we're proud to partner with her and make sure that you have the best experience. You're going to go to Ranchera. You're going to go to the bowling stadium. You know, hopefully most of you knock down some pins. We'll see some of your bowling skills this afternoon. You're going to get to see the Automobile Museum and have some events there. We have a wonderful calendar of events, so we really want to thank you for coming, really experiencing Northern Nevada as a whole. If you get a chance, get up to the lake. Hopefully the weather will change. It won't be as so blustery and windy outside, but once again, thank you for coming. Thank you for all the work. Have a wonderful conference. Enjoy yourselves here in Reno, Nevada. And like Mayor says, go win some money on the tables. All right, folks, have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much. All right, thank you so much, Commissioner. Okay, you guys know this. This is truly a thing that you are so blessed if you have a council that supports you. Am I right, as mayors? Come on, we all know that. So I have to, this conference would not be happening without the support of my Reno City Council. And I have several of them here today, and I'm super excited to introduce them to you. So I would love for my Reno City Council to come on up. They might have left. They're like, I saw Devin on the tables. Come on up. All right, this is my vice mayor, Naomi Jardin. She's amazing. This is another dear friend of mine, Councilman Devin Reese. Hey. Councilwoman Naomi Dewar. Councilman Delgado. And Councilwoman Weber. Thank you so much for you. You guys are amazing. I work with tremendous people. I am very, very blessed. So this would not happen without all of your support. You guys know this. We really are a region that comes together and works as one, and it really means the difference in Nevada. We are a smaller state, so it's really important. We are a smaller state. She looks at me and goes, you're a smaller state. Thank you so much. I want you guys to stay up here because we have a special gift for all of you. I am going to give you the very first public art NFT, and what that is it's digitized artwork, and it's one of a kind. I know many of you are like, what is that? But I also know this. When we go to cities for the conference, we come back with, like, you know, gifts and all these things. We can never put them in our suitcases, can we? I'm always like, how do I get this home? It's kind of crazy. So now we're actually moving into the future with digitized art. And this is a Burning Man space whale. You will have a one-of-a-kind, again, the very first public art NFT. And so we're gonna stay up here and we're gonna do a ribbon cutting on that. So I'd love it if the president of the Conference of Mayors, Mayor Suarez, who's a big fan of NFTs, and Mr. Tom Cochran, come on up. Let's do this ribbon cutting, because like I said, I'm gonna give all of you guys an NFT.
Sharp looking group.
All right, I know, right?
Look at
I know, I'm
this.
super lucky.
I'm not gonna say
give you
how
the-
you guys compare to my council.
There they are,
Get in
here
trouble.
we go.
Not going there.
Like I said, this is very cutting edge, and we want to do this for you.
Cutting edge.
Yes.
Haha.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Just,
But I thought it was very appropriate because his love for blockchain, his love for innovation,
on this side, right?
your love for art. So really, we really wanted to dedicate it to you because it really sort of is all-encompassing this
To me?
beautiful space whale. Yes, this
No way.
this NFT, and every single mayor in here is going to get. They're one of a kind, very rare. We're going to help you put it in your wallet. So after we get off stage, you can learn how to download it. It's very, very cool. Very cool.
That's cool.
The space whale is impressive. You'll see it tonight as we go to the bowling stadium. Very cool. So I want everyone to check that out. Many artists worked on this piece. It's spectacular. It lights up at night. It's full of stained glass. There was an artist that worked on it by the name of Android Jones. He creates work at the Vatican as well. So it's very, very cool. Anyway, okay, so we're going to do a countdown. And then I'm actually going to have the creator who helped us with this piece, who is like the guru of NFTs, come up and talk about this. But right now, we're going to do our ribbon cutting.
Great.
Okay?
Gotta come on this side.
Yeah, get in here.
Here you go.
Oh my goodness.
Big suckers. These are big ones. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Now, I have a thing. This mayors, I have a juju thing. Everyone that's participating in the ribbon cutting has to touch it.
Okay.
Has to. So this is like a real thing. So
Except for
otherwise
the
it's
people
bad
cutting
luck.
it?
So yeah.
Okay, good.
No.
I got to touch
Okay.
it while I cut it? 'Cause that would
No,
be
well,
tough.
you got to make this right. Like you got to get in the first one.
Got it.
Because
So
otherwise it's bad luck.
it's bad juju.
Okay, here we
Got
go.
it.
Ready?
Start your countdown.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Yay! Oh, 9, 10.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, there it is.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
That is
So everyone
incredible.
gets a digital version. It's the very first public art NFT. I want to see everyone's art in your cities so that we can collaborate with you on your digitized art and keep it forever in
Gorgeous.
the metaverse. So it's
I
going to
love
be
it.
very cool. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, I'm going to call up a dear friend of mine, Mark Beckman.
I'll take
Thank
this
you
with
so
us.
much. All
That was
right.
beautiful.
Mark Beckman, I'd love to call you up to the stage. He's amazing. He wrote the book on NFTs. He's here from New York City. He works with major Fortune 500 companies from Condé Nast to NARS Cosmetics. It's been truly a pleasure and honor to work on this project with him. Honestly, like I can't believe it. It's like, you know, he's like, you're like famous. And then when I get to work with you, I'm just like starstruck. So he's here in the biggest little city to tell you a little bit more about this project and how exciting it is. This is truly the future. This is truly innovation. And as mayors, I say that if you are not supporting innovation, then those people that are will leave your city. So you got to make sure that you support innovation in your city, and this is a great way to do it. So, Mr. Beckman, come on up. Thank you, my friend. I'm gonna.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Shivi. It's really exciting to see the space whale come to life. As Mayor Shivi explained, we are working on a lot of Web3 projects. In fact, today, my agency, DMA United, is working on 100% of Web3 projects from all different pillars of society, from fashion and art to music, sports, and entertainment. And I have to admit, and I'm not just saying it because I'm standing here in a room filled with mayors, this is by far the most exciting project that our agency is working on. It is revolutionary, and this groundbreaking technology can provide all of you mayors and all of these cities throughout our great nation with the ability to change the overall look and feel of their cities, of your cities, as well as driving and creating new revenues and new jobs. So the concept is really simple. If you'd like to create your own artwork that represents your city, or create a city key that provides owners with the ability to visit and have an experience unlike any type of experience when they visit your city that they could even dream of or imagine, we could custom create this and develop it with you and your teams to create a beautiful city, as well as creating new revenue for your city.
And that's really the basic concept. So in this instance, we've worked with Mayor Sheevy and her team to develop the space whale. A portion of the proceeds will go back to the Public Art Fund, which will then help benefit the city with its appearance, as well as other initiatives that relate to art in Reno. You can all, as Mayor Sheevy mentioned, she's gifting a free NFT to all of the mayors here, and I believe there's a card on your seat, but effectively you can either email me with my email address, mark@DMA-United, or visit me at the U.S. Mayor's booth, and we'll show you how to set up your wallet and retrieve your complimentary space whale. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. So my goal really is to curate with cities and major art projects to be able to highlight them digitally. Remember, this is the digital world. So, and also, this can be sold on a secondary market, so they become very valuable. But you're getting the very first public art piece of this whale. So it's very cool. But like I said, you want to hold on to it because they have value, and you can sell it on a secondary market. But again, I'm really excited about it. So, okay. With that being said, I know you're like, how do I get this? What does this look like? Mark and Jocelyn and Tom will help all of you download it into your wallet, and you're going to want to hold on to that. Like I said, it's going to be I think it's going to be very, very valuable one day. But imagine all of us coming together with the artwork that we create in our cities. It's going to be truly phenomenal. Trust me, I know everyone's like, I don't get it. But remember when the internet came? How many of you guys remember when we would plug the internet into the wall and it would make this crazy noise? That was so crazy, right? So trust me, I promise. We're early adopters, which is great about mayors. So this is exciting, very innovative. All right, everyone, have a great conference, and we will see you soon.
Please welcome United States Conference of Mayors CEO and Executive Director Tom Cochran.
Well, hello, everybody. This is where I'm supposed to introduce a video, but I wanted to also talk about presidents of this organization. And if you go out into the registration area, you will see a video that we did. We've had, our organization is 90 years old. And we now have had 80 presidents. Mayor Fira LaGuardia, the little flower, the mayor of New York City, served 10 years from 1935 to 1945. And so they said, enough of you. And so every mayor serves 1 year. But, you know, and then we have past presidents of this organization. We have Mayor Couts and Mayor Fisher, Mayor Barnett are here, and then they're still serving. And we also have Mayor Palmer, who's very active with us, Mayor of Trenton, and we have Mayor Webb here, and Antonio Villaraigosa. You know, as long as Antonio's around, there's going to be 2 mayors of LA, so it was good to have him here. But my focus today is on our current president. Nan Whaley called me. She was our past president. She called me and she was crying. And I said, what's going on? And she said, I'm going to run for governor. I said, my God, you're being demoted. And so I have to serve, I have a boss every year. And sometimes it's every 6 months. When one retires. And so January, we went to Miami, and we inaugurated Mayor Suarez. And his son was with me when we inaugurated him, Andrew, and he gave the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mayor Suarez's father was there. So I said to Andrew, I said, you can run for mayor too, and I'll be here to serve you. So Mayor Suarez was born in 1977. He continues to remind me how young he is. His daddy was mayor, and at 2 years old, he did his first political commercial for his father. He was elected in 2017 with 83% of the vote, 1 out of 100, and then reelected again with an overwhelming majority. He's the first, Miami group is 126 years old, the city of Miami, and he's the first ever local born person to be mayor of Miami. And he's the first mayor not to be born in Cuba since 1996 when Mayor Clark left office. So, you know, he became my vice president. And people started calling me and saying, you know, he's running for president. I said, yeah, he's going to be president of the Conference of Mayors. They said, no, he's running for president. And I called my communications person in and I said, they say that Suarez is running for president of the United States. And then, you know, in April 2021, reports started circulating that Suarez could serve as a running mate to the potential candidate Nikki Haley. I said, damn, what's going on here? And then listen to this. The Hill, which is an incredible publication, said in September 2021, indicated that Suarez is running for president in his own right, and he's still vice president of this organization. So, you know, the beat goes on. And then George Will wrote a piece that says Suarez has more pertinent governing experience than the 43-year-old legislator Obama, who'd accumulated in 2004, 4 years before being elected. So with that, let's look at the video, and then I'll come back and we will introduce our president. The video, please.
Mayors from around the country are suddenly finding themselves fueled by Cuban coffee and cryptocurrency. Mayor Francis Suarez doesn't take any bull. He takes the bull by the horns, bridging the best of Miami with the message of mayors on a mission.
All of the things that have made Miami successful are easy to replicate. They can be done in any American city.
He's on the move with mayors from across the country and around the world. Betting big on technology and innovation.
We need to make sure that a generation of prosperity and innovation is not lost because of a lack of innovative spirit.
He's tough on crime.
Public safety is the foundation of our quality of life.
He means business for businesses big and small. He does it all with hope and with heart.
We're a nation that is strong and resilient, that defies elitist opinions and surprises outsider assumptions. We come in all colors, but we are bound by a common identity and values. And what we have done for our cities can and will be done across our country.
And he's having just a bit of fun along the way. So keep those cafecitos coming, porque no has visto nada todavía.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States Conference of Mayors, Francis Suarez.
That's amazing.
Yeah, good.
Wow. All right. Hard to top that. By the way, Tom, it was close to 86%, not 83%. But, and I really like that 3D effect. I don't know how you did that. I've never actually seen any of those sort of 3D videos. It's incredibly humbling to be here. And I want to really begin by thanking my staff that's in the back. They were watching the video. My wife was watching the video, and I think they were as emotional as I was. I think we all can identify with the grind, the hard work that we put in, the passion that we have for what we do, and we know that our staff is there every step of the way. They're seeing the highs, they experience the lows, and so I just really want to give them a shout out and thanks. They were clapping almost as loud as you guys were, and there's only a few of them back there. So I think that's a testament to the work that they've done. I stand on their shoulders just like I stand on your shoulders, my friends that have mentored me and helped me and guided me to this moment. I often say that I'm not really the president of the conference. I'm really the chief servant of the conference. And somebody was asking me, I think yesterday, are you having a good time? And I said, I am having a good time. The reason why I'm having a good time is not because I lead anything, but frankly because I feel supported by everybody. Everybody is constantly encouraging me, is giving me attaboys, and that inspires me and it gives me energy to keep going forward. So with that, it's a pleasure to be here in Reno, as was said, America's biggest little city. I'd like to thank, I'm not sure if she's my first or second vice president. I was asking back there if, I kept saying on my prompter, she's a second vice president. And I said, Ed, she's really the first vice president because she's going to be president. He said, yeah, but technically she's the second vice president. So anyways, I'm calling her my first and second vice president, Hillary Sheevy, who's done a magnificent job hosting this incredible conference. Serving as your president for the last 6 months has been the honor of my lifetime. I have met Americans from all parts of our country and all walks of life. I've listened to their concerns, I've cherished their stories, and I've seen their hopes and aspirations for tomorrows that are better than their yesterdays. And make no mistake, in this very room, all of you are doing that every single day. It is no exaggeration that we mayors stand on the front lines of democracy. We are close to our people. We are closest to their concerns, their hopes, and their hearts. It is so fitting that when tragedy strikes, from hurricanes and tornadoes to mass violence and community turmoil, our people turn to us. We are there to comfort them. We are there to console them. We are there to protect them. And we are there to get things done. 2 weeks ago, many of us met with Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko. He is the mayor of Ukraine's largest city and the president of the Ukrainian Mayors Association. And we spoke about the challenges he faces now, the fear he encounters, the devastation of war, his urgent needs, and the crimes against humanity being waged against him right now by Vladimir Putin and his regime. We must stand with him and Ukraine, and we must lead. He expressed how important his meeting with us was during the leadership conference. He said, you, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, were the first political organization in America that gave us a voice, that let us tell our story, that let us show the true nature of the Russian invasion and the continuing struggles of our people for freedom. We also spoke about the division being stoked across all democracies, the toxic partisanship that is literally killing our fellow Americans. We saw a little bit of it yesterday in the mayor's only meeting and the intentionality of that effort. Right now, America's enemies are counting on, they are working towards dividing America and pitting Americans against each other. They are placing all of their resources, from online bots to mass disinformation, to create partisan dysfunction and gridlock. They want to divide us, and they know when we are divided, we are vulnerable. This is why we mayors are so important and why this organization is so important. We know that safe streets and safe schools are not partisan issues. We know that garbage pickup and climate adaptive building practices that keep insurance premiums low are not partisan issues. We know that balancing our budgets, not overspending, and reinvesting our surpluses are not partisan issues. Our agenda for America rests on the premise that an America that lasts forever must be an America for everyone, for all our cities, our communities, and our citizens. We know that whatever is wrong with America can be solved with what is right with America. We can come together, we can work together, and we can get things done that advance public safety from school children to our seniors. We can leverage new technologies like ShotSpotter, dynamic cameras, digital detection programs to identify and intercept mass shooters. We can collaborate and create the type of policies that ensure our public safety and personal well-being for everyone. Even until today, the conference has convened continued meetings to share strategies to reduce homicides and mass shootings. As crime rates skyrocket, the conference affirmed its support to cut crime, leverage technology, and advance bipartisan solutions to stop criminals and to protect the lives of our citizens. We have the tools, we have the support, and together, we must get it done. We must solve our thank you. We must solve our 20th century divisions with 20th century solutions. Across America, we are witnessing the leadership transition from one generation to another. And we mayors welcome this change, and I welcome our new mayors. Mayors like Justin Bibb of Cleveland. Where are you, Justin? I know you were here somewhere. Stand up, buddy. He's one of the best looking mayors in America, this guy. Best dressed, too. Andre Dickens of Atlanta. Where are you, Atlanta? ATL in the house. Why are you sitting so far back there, man? Can you even see me from over there? I can barely see you, man. Come on. The light shining in my face. I know Tashara couldn't make it today, but Tashara Jones of St. Louis, Missouri is another incredible leader. These are the new mayors of America. This is the face of our country. A beautiful, bright, shining future. Now is the time to look for the future and lay the foundation of the future for our cities, our country, and our world with new ideas, new energy, and new solutions. American cities have been at the center of advancing climate and resilience priorities for communities for decades. We know that choosing between the environment and the economy is a false choice. The environment is our economy. This is why the conference published a guide about how cities have leveraged federal funds for local climate resilience, and why the conference also launched a research partnership with Wells Fargo to educate mayors and business leaders on the best practices to address and reduce the impacts of climate change in their communities. All mayors know the value of pollution cleanup to revitalize neighborhoods. This is why mayors supported Congress reauthorizing the Brownfield program. Mayors are saving taxpayer dollars by expanding energy efficiency in schools and city buildings, saving drivers at the pump by installing new types of intersections that reduce car idling and help people switch to electric vehicles, making sure we all have clean air and water with more clean energy. We know that infrastructure is the bedrock of innovation. Right now, mayors are using federal funds and infrastructure investments in smart and innovative ways to rebuild our cities. By helping to keep cities running at full capacity, by restoring funding for critical municipal services, by supporting small businesses in our city, by standing with working families, by expanding childcare options, by getting people back to work, and keeping our kids learning with discounted broadband home internet. The conference will continue to work with other local and state government coalitions to urge Congress to free up funds for infrastructure and disaster relief. Every city can benefit from new and repaired roads, bridges, and tunnels, but not every city leader knows how to navigate federal bureaucracy. So the U.S. Conference of Mayors partnered with Bloomberg Philanthropies to connect mayors with a new support tool, the Local Infrastructure Hub. With it, mayors have a fair shot at getting once-in-a-lifetime funding for their city's infrastructure. Over the past 6 months, it's no surprise that I've championed Web 3.0 technology. Why? Because this technology, much like the internet in the 90s, will revolutionize our economy, our communities, and our lives. Transformative technologies are a fact of life, and we need to ensure that everyone is included, everyone is prepared, and everyone wins. Access to technology and its benefits is an economic and political imperative. We need to ensure that every American is included and empowered in using this technology. This is why I hosted our first ever crypto summit for mayors. I believe that new forms and fintech can unleash and include a new generation of Americans, whether they be black, white, brown, red, yellow, or any other color, to benefit in real and substantive terms all peoples. We know that advancing civil rights for every generation is our generational obligation to past and future generations of Americans. This is why we must advance the legacy of Lincoln in advancing racial reconciliation. We must eliminate the limits on broadband to lower income communities and end the unfair, illegal, and usurious lending practices and redlining by big banks for communities of color. Freedom, political and economic freedom, are the foundation of justice and equality before the law. And we know that protecting civil liberties and civil rights are part of our oath as public officials, from upholding our federal constitution to enforcing our city's charters. Just 2 months ago, 36 mayors attended Miami's own Emerge America Summit. When so many people wanted to cut out the bankers, lawyers, middlemen from their finances, mayors discussed issues at the nexus of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and government. In January, as part of the national conversation on racial reckoning, the United States Conference of Mayors joined with the African American Mayors Association in announcing the Mayors Compact on racial equity. Through this historic compact, mayors pledged to dismantle structures of institutional racism and discrimination. Hundreds of mayors tipped their caps in April to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. We also announced Tucson Mayor Regina Romero as the new chair of the conference's Latino Alliance of Mayors. Felicidades, alcaldesa, buena suerte, vamos a trabajar juntos. And San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria became chair of the LGBTQ Alliance. Mayor Gloria, can you please stand as we acknowledge LGBTQ month? Is he around here? I saw him yesterday. I don't know if he's still here. But thank you so much for your service and for agreeing to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow mayors, we are the frontline leaders of our democracy. Our people need us now more than ever. We are not the Republican Conference of Mayors or the Democratic Conference of Mayors. We are the United States Conference of Mayors. And united we must be for the future of our country and the promises we must keep. Thank you and God bless you. Okay. I got very excited for that ending and just sort of thought it was a drop the mic moment, just walk off the stage. And Ed very kindly like, okay, sir, you have to walk back up. That's a nice way of saying, get your butt back up there, you know? Thank you, Ed, for your grace in telling me kindly that I'm an idiot. The past 2 years, as we all know, have been unprecedented for our nation, our cities, and our Conference of Mayors. During this time, we were most fortunate to have been led by 3 presidents who helped us pivot to a world of Zoom meetings and gatherings, while still conducting the critical work of our great organization. And in fact, During these times, we helped accomplish historic achievements, such as passage of the American Rescue Plan with $65.1 billion for all American cities, the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure law, and much more. At the same time, our organization led on critical issues related to police reform and social justice, and I would argue, helped hold our cities and our nation together during a public health crisis. During the transitions of authority that took place between their presidencies, all three of these leaders presented video remarks to our membership highlighting the themes, priorities accomplished during their tenures, and farewell messages. Upon the screen behind me are the links to these videos, which can also be found in the U.S. Conference of Mayors app. So at this time, I want to sincerely thank the 77th President, Mayor Brian Barnett of Rochester Hills. Mayor, if you could stand up. Our 78th President, Mayor Greg Fisher, if you can please stand up, Greg. And I'll note in the case of Mayor Fisher, he was president throughout the pandemic. Mayor Barnett was president when the pandemic began, and Mayor Whaley as well. But I want to commend him in particular. And Mayor Nan Whaley, who could not be with us today from Dayton, Ohio, our 79th president. Please join me in saluting these past presidents for their leadership of the U.S. Conference of Mayors through some of the most difficult times in our nation's modern history. And I reiterate and urge you to please see their farewell videos. They're very passionate about the messages that they have given and making sure that everyone in this conference and everyone in the country sees their sentiments and hears their sentiments. I want to now thank all of the sponsors for the 90th annual meeting, who are the ones that keep us going, our Business Council sponsors, our title sponsor, the American Institute of Architects, Airbnb, AT&T, Community Solutions, Destinations International, HDR, Hertz, Honeywell, IKE Smart City, International Well-Building Institute, Kapoor Capital, Kaiser Permanente, Kiewit, Mars Petcare, MasterCard, Merck, the Rockefeller Foundation, Walmart, the Walton Family Foundation, and Wells Fargo. Please give them all a round of applause. And now I want to thank the American Institute of Architects for being our title sponsor this year. We will be hearing from AIA's CEO, Lakeisha Woods, and Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner momentarily. But first, we also have a short video highlighting Houston's Emancipation Park, where AIA architects worked with the mayor and local residents to advance reconciliation and healing through a new park for all.
Imagine living at a time where your entire life you have been enslaved, you have been maligned, disrespected, and finally a door flings open to possibility you never thought you'd see in your lifetime. Here is where my life will change. That's what I think happened when our ancestors found themselves at Emancipation Park.
And be free. This is more than just open space, and it's more than just sports and recreation. This is a park that tells a story.
My great-grandfather brought his family to the Houston area at that time. On Juneteenth, they decided they wanted a place that they could have of their own, that they could celebrate freedom.
4 formerly enslaved individuals came together with the community, and they bought this 10-acre plot of land. Over time, the park had really become tired and needed a complete refresh.
Perkins & Will's design process really engages the community. They are designing for themselves, and we are merely the messengers.
On any given day, you can travel the globe by being in this city because people come from all over. The community leaders working with the architects have done an exceptional job. capturing and building and enhancing that history.
The relationship between architects and civic leaders is important in creating works that embody our shared values. If we can be more conscientious of that, we can make a built environment that's much more welcoming and much more inclusive.
No two neighborhoods have the same history, and even if some neighborhoods have similar issues and need similar results, no two neighborhoods have the same needs.
Equity is key to good design. It helps to ensure that remembrance is there, that there is no cultural erasure.
If the founders were to see the park today, they would be elated.
That hope that they carried is why I think now they smile as they see what it is today.
But let me tell you something. I think they would be highly disappointed if they came back and they only saw Emancipation Park. It's not just about that location. It's about the hope, the dreams, and the promise that regardless of where you started and how you got there, you can go beyond. Quite frankly, there's an Emancipation Park in all of us.
Please welcome the American Institute of Architects and CEO and Executive Vice President Lakeisha Woods and Mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner.
Good morning, everyone. How about that film? Film Challenge is fantastic, isn't it? Well, before I get into this interview...
Did you see Denzel Washington in that film?
Oh, I mean, I see Denzel right next to me.
Ask me whatever you want.
I want to say a few words about the importance of this event and why AIA is involved. We're thrilled to be a part of an event where mayors come together to talk about your common challenges and how to find solutions. The built environment is a makeup of various areas of expertise, but the stakeholders must continue to work together on large-scale issues that impact everyone in our society and seek improvement. It's the people in this room discussing how we can partner and collaborate who will drive that progress, because no mayor can sit within a city and ignore the surrounding areas. We all seek that greater society, and working together will help us all move forward. The film we just viewed absolutely drives home the value of strong relationships and partnerships between mayors and architects, which is the point of our discussion today. This conference comes at a time of tremendous conflict in our society, which makes it more important for us to work together. The decisions that mayors make at all levels impact the overall community, and architects at their core are passionate about the power of design and how it can positively impact all the spaces where we live, work, learn, and play. Architects care deeply about their communities, and you can count on them to be your partners. As city leaders, you know better than almost anyone that forward-looking, practical, and tested solutions start at the city and municipal levels. For example, in that video, we showcase the importance of parks, where the community comes together, connects, and unites. This includes the importance of equity in parks. As a leader and a mother, I know how important the decisions you make impact the future of our families. And that's why your leadership continues to shape the conversation around how to design and create spaces that promote the safety, health, and welfare of everyone, everywhere. A study by the Center for Sustainable Systems at the University of Michigan projects that by 2050, 89% of the United States population will live in urban areas. That means the solutions to our biggest challenges ahead with the climate crisis and creating a more equitable and inclusive society will come from the people in this room, your teams and like-minded constituents in your community. Architects share your passion for sustainable, healthier, and more equitable communities. Simply put, there's no better group to work with for the challenges ahead. AIA is focused on climate action and racial and gender equity in our profession. One of the reasons I was so excited to work for architects is because of those two top-line goals. And today, we discuss effectively addressing the climate crisis. It is paramount that architects are your partners for progress. So now,
Yes.
Mayor Turner.
Denzel is fine.
I know that there's been a lot going on in your community,
Yes.
but today we're going to talk about climate.
Okay.
All right, we're going to focus on that area. So how has Houston balanced the need to provide for a thriving and growing community while working to reduce the impact of the built world on the environment?
For those who are familiar with the city of Houston, you know that it's geographically large. Geographically, it's the largest city in the country, 670 square miles. And in the past, it's a sprawling city. We've decided to redesign the city. So we're no longer just building out, but we're building up, recognizing that as we densify, we can't do things the same way. Where it was so much car and truck centric, we now recognize that we have to move people around throughout the city, and as they come to the city in a different way. So we are now engaged in a multi-billion-dollar project to change the whole transit system. And we recognize that with so many flooding events coming, that we are building up, so we are building higher. We learned that from Harvey, more detention. But at the same time, we put forth our first climate action plan, where the focus is on resilience, with 4 major pillars, and one major one is building optimization. So we recognize that we have to do things differently, because you just can't build a city for yesterday, or you're building it for failure. You have to build it for the future.
Definitely have to build for the future. Well, the world is on track to double its building stock by 2060.
Yes.
And given that approximately 40% of carbon emission comes from buildings, what's the role of city leadership to ensure that growth is smart, equitable, and sustainable?
And it's major. I mean, Houston has some of the largest greenhouse gas emitters, principally located right in the city of Houston. But I will tell you, in July of 2020, we have 550 municipal buildings in the city of Houston. As of July of 2020, all of them, we are 100% powered by renewables. It may be surprising to people, but the city of Houston purchases more renewables than any other city in the country, 1 million megawatts on an annual basis. So we're doing that. And then on Earth Day, I announced what we call our building decarbonization program to reduce the consumption of energy and water by 5% on an annual basis. We are changing our procurement practices for low impact equipment and building materials. We have a specialized team to focus on our high impact buildings. And with all the measures that we're putting in place, we think we can reduce, as it relates to buildings, our greenhouse gas emissions by 250,000 metric tons.
Wow.
And enough to save the changes that we are making. So we're taking a very intentional approach and bringing in all of our stakeholders. So it's not just about electrifying our vehicles. It's about leading an energy transition. We are the energy capital of the world, but we want to lead an energy transition. It's about electrifying our public-private fleet, building optimization, and material management. And that is, we're working even with companies, some of our larger energy companies, about a major commercial recycling program. So all of those things put together, and then even dealing with our utility, we are putting forth this master energy plan for the region, what we call Resilience Now, which is really building in redundancy and addressing energy poverty within many of our communities that have been underserved and under-resourced.
Wow, that's impressive.
I think we're moving in the right direction. I mean, people, I think when they look at the city, they say, "Oh, the energy capital of the world," all of those energy companies. But after Hurricane Harvey, even those energy companies recognized that we had to do things differently. So they are focusing quite a bit on carbon capture, utilization, and storage. They are focusing on establishing the Gulf Coast, Houston in particular, as a hydrogen hub. And then Greentown Labs, for example, expanded from the Boston area now in the city of Houston. And the goal was to build 50 2.0 energy clean tech companies by 2025. I will tell you that we are well ahead of that schedule, that we are already building 64 and expanding that cohort. So there are a number of things that are taking place at different levels. Since 2019 to 2021, we have doubled our capacity for solar and moving up in the rankings on that end. So, you know, there are a number of different things that are taking place in the city, quite frankly, in the state of Texas. But we want people to come. Yeah. We want to continue to be the energy capital of the world, but we recognize that we have to do things differently.
Are there any other projects you'd like to share with the group that Houston's been working on?
Well, I think some of the members up here, I've talked a great deal about the solar farm that's in the city of Houston, an urban area, a landfill. In fact, I got the idea when I attended one of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, a landfill that in the Boston area, they turned into a solar farm. I came back to the city of Houston, told my staff, these 240 contaminated acres that have been holding down this black community for 50 years, I wanted us to change it. And on the week of Earth Day this year, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality gave us the green light to proceed in turning that landfill into the largest urban solar landfill in the country. It will become operational in July of next year. But I have some questions for you, not just about asking questions of me.
Oh, no.
And that is, AIA has focused quite a bit on climate action and equity. Tell us why.
Architects are really focused on this issue because they're the perfect people to be in a position to help influence this change and work in partnership with the community and all those stakeholders that are involved. Architects are leading in this area, and they recognize the changes that must be made. And because they specify, they design, they develop what is next for the communities, that is why they're so passionate about being involved in climate and ensuring that we're making the decisions that are best for this country and for their local communities.
You know, and that's why I love architects. You know, at one point in time, I wanted to be an architect. But that didn't work out for me.
There's always time.
But let me ask this question. You know, I know when it comes to designing buildings and remodeling, redeveloping buildings, that's what you do. But architects, AIA, can be so much more instrumental to mayors in dealing with other challenges. You want to tell us why? Or how, in which areas?
Really, it's one of the things, and what I mentioned at the beginning, is that, you know, architects are really your partners. As you, as mayors, are thinking of what's next for your community and looking around the table, who do you have at the table with you making those decisions and helping guide you in the right direction? I think so often, and actually some of the feedback I heard from mayors when I got here yesterday was, oh, you know, we have an architect on our council and it's really changed the way we look at what's next for our community. And so that's why we're here. That's why we want you to recognize architects as a resource for you. AIA itself, you know, again, I mentioned our two top-line goals. We're focused on climate action, and we're focused on racial and gender equity in our profession. It is not just an issue, I'm sure, for architects, but in many professions. But they have put it in writing and said this is something we're really going to focus on and ensure that we are providing equitable communities, equitable workforce and talent, and in our leadership, specifically having that diversity that's important, because the more diverse your leadership team, the more, you know, innovative and more financially successful your businesses are. And so we want to ensure that we have that.
Well, let me thank you all for working with us on Emancipation Park. It will be the largest Juneteenth celebration in Houston on June the 8th, June 19th. Come down and join with us as we celebrate the freedom of African Americans 2 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Amazing.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes, and that video that you saw will be available. It will go live online on Juneteenth in celebration. So again, just don't forget that architects are your partners for progress, and we're very happy to be here. Thank you very much. On behalf of our 94,000 members, thank you so much for having us.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
way we went. I guess we're gonna go this way.
For the last 18 months, an important activity of our Mayors and Business Leaders Center for Compassionate and Equitable Cities has been the Police Reform and Racial Justice Grant Program, made possible by our good friends at Target. Introducing Target's announcement of the 2022 grant winners this morning is San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, the chair of our center. Mayor Nirenberg.
Morning. It's my pleasure this morning as chair of our conference's Center for Compassionate and Equitable Cities to introduce Laisha Ward, the Executive Vice President and Chief External Engagement Officer for Target. In the conference's winter meeting in 2021, Laisha announced the creation of a 2-year, $700,000 police reform and racial justice grant program, a national initiative which the Conference of Mayors and Target would identify, support, and promote police policies and practices shown to be effective in advancing the goal of equal justice for all residents of our cities. COVID kept all of us in our cities in 2021, and the formal announcement of the first-year grant winners planned for our 2021 annual meeting in Austin had to be postponed until this past January's winter meeting in Washington. In that meeting, on behalf of Target, I was pleased to recognize the mayors of Dallas, Albuquerque, and Salisbury, Maryland, the 3 recipients of the first-year grants totaling $350,000 that were awarded through the Police Reform and Racial Justice Program. At that time, I also announced the launch of the second year of the program and the second opportunity for 3 more cities to share in another $350,000 in grants, which brings us to this morning, here in Reno, in the announcement of our second-year winners. Through this grant program, Target has been a strong supporter of our Center for Compassionate and Equitable Cities. Let's also recognize Mayor Greg Fisher for the creation of that important center. Thank you, Greg, for your leadership. I urge you all to go to the center's webpage on the Conference of Mayors website for descriptions not only of our grant-winning police reform initiatives, but also the initiatives submitted by the cities competing for grants last year and this year. You'll find nearly 70 examples of what your colleagues consider best practices in police reform and racial justice, and all are worthy of your consideration. And with this, I'm pleased to announce a great friend of our Conference of Mayors, Target's Laisha Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Nirenberg, and good morning, everyone. You know, it's great to be here with you in person, which is so exciting, especially as we all continue to navigate a myriad of issues confronting our communities and our country. But there is hope amidst the struggle, and all of you represent hope and action. On behalf of everyone at Target, or Target, as I know many of you like to refer to us, including Tracy Hester, who's the co-chair of the Mayor's Business Council Steering Committee, who you'll hear from tomorrow, by the way, so get up bright and early. She'll be talking around 7:30 a.m., I believe, and we'll look forward to having you hear from her. But we're also pleased to be here with other members of our team, and I'm representing really all of our team members in our stores and distribution centers all across the country. I want to thank all of you for your commitment and your leadership to public service. At Target, our culture is based on caring, winning, and growing together. It comes to life by continually investing in our team, including our frontline employees who live and work in your communities. We're now offering a starting wage range of $15 to $24 an hour. We're providing debt-free education, where we provide financial assistance to our team members so that they can achieve their career goals. And we're providing expanded access to healthcare benefits and overall well-being because our team is our greatest asset and the heart of Target. You know, from retail to healthcare to education and public safety, the past few years have taught us all to be flexible, resilient, and to find new ways of doing things. Because where there's crisis, there's opportunity. Where there's despair, there's hope. And where there's struggle, there is also progress and growth. You know, Target's been on a 16-year journey to build and refine our diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy that's helped us recruit and retain more diverse talent, offer more products and services from diverse suppliers, and really to direct our philanthropic and other community investments to communities of color and more. And while we've made progress, and certainly we've made some progress that we're really, really proud of, we also knew that we needed to do more. And after the murder of George Floyd, right in our hometown of Minneapolis, it further reinforced that we all needed to do more. That's why we created our Racial Equity Action and Change Committee, or REACH, of which I'm a founding member. It's our enterprise-wide effort to accelerate the work of Target's diversity, equity, and inclusion team, and really to fuel the economic and social and structural vitality of communities all across the country. So building on our years of DE&I work, the groundwork that we've been laying, REACH has 4 key areas of focus: our team, our guests, communities, and civic engagement and public policy, which includes the work that we're doing with policymakers to really address and help end systemic racism, including safety and police reform. And this isn't about making statements. Lots of folks have been making statements. This is really about listening, learning, and co-creating solutions with partners like all of you. We don't pretend to have all the answers. We need to work in partnership. And it's really about putting into action what is required to have sustainable progress. And doing that work, not just in a community, but doing that work with a community. For example, we committed to spending more than $2 billion with Black-owned businesses and suppliers by the end of 2025, a bold commitment. So you fast forward to today, we're making progress on our goals, and we've increased the dollars that we've spent with Black-owned businesses and brands by more than 50%. And we've doubled the number of Black-owned brands on our shelves and online by more than 100. Hopefully you've seen that in our stores and online. And we're sharing these goals publicly so that you can help hold us accountable and help us achieve those goals. And in fact, we've talked about these goals with many of you, particularly this one, and many of you have been excited about helping us achieve that goal. And so we've created a portal that diverse suppliers of all backgrounds can access. And so it really allows them to explore opportunities with Target, both for products, goods, and services. It's the direct and indirect spend that is so critically important. So, you might want to take a screenshot of the URL up here on the screen, because that is where small businesses or businesses of varying sizes, if they're interested in exploring opportunities with us, should go and download their information into the portal. We also launched Forward Founders. It's our new accelerator program to help early stage diverse businesses take the next step towards retail readiness and really be the next wave of wealth building companies. We provide them with training resources and an action plan to help them move their business forward, right? We know that they face challenges with capital, access to markets, and training, and we're working on that. And in a different form of work in this space, we created the Target Scholars Program. We're awarding scholarships to 1,000 students at more than a dozen historically Black colleges and universities to support the completion of their degrees. In fact, the first class of those scholars just finished their freshman year, and we're expanding the program by offering each student an additional $10,000 over the next 3 years, plus continued access to resources like coaching, mentoring, internships, all really important to get them through college and ready for careers. Thank you. Let's face it, folks, these will be the leaders in your community. And it will take our collective effort, our best thinking, and our action to dismantle systemic racism, which is why we're really proud to support the Police Reform and Racial Justice Grant Program. This initiative aims to identify, support, and promote police policies and practices in cities shown to be the most effective in advancing the goal of justice for all residents. This year's winners, we're really, really proud of them, and they're proof of what can happen through partnership. Facing a myriad of challenges, these communities came together and created innovative solutions that will result in more equitable policing in communities across the country, and we want you all to learn from one another. This year's large city grant goes to New Orleans, where the grant will be used to help extend the Law Enforcement Assisted Division of LEAD. Their LEAD program will be citywide. Now, here to accept the grant and to tell us a little bit more about the program is New Orleans Deputy Chief of Staff, Jabari Walker, who is standing in for Mayor LaToya Cantrell, who was here but had to leave because she wasn't feeling well. So please join me in welcoming Jabari.
Hi, good morning, everyone. On behalf of Mayor LaToya Cantrell and the City of New Orleans, it is a great honor to be selected as the winner of the U.S. Conference of Mayors Police Reform and Racial Justice Award. We appreciate the leadership of the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Target for investing in two elements of what we consider essential to advancing community safety: police reform and racial justice. Thank you for recognizing the hard work and the accomplishments for the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program, or we call it LEAD, in New Orleans. We are thrilled to receive this grant award because we know it's going to help us in assisting what we consider our overly incarcerated population, who ultimately most of the times have unmet behavioral health concerns. So the LEAD program emphasizes what the Cantrell administration's mission is: to meet people where they are by providing services to our most vulnerable residents. Recently, the LEAD program saw great success with a client who has been homeless for over 10 years and had a history of substance abuse. Because of consistency, because of compassion, because of patience, and a client-centered approach, our LEAD case managers had the ability to meet this client and provide them housing, as well as allow them to receive some substance abuse treatment. And then this individual has now had the opportunity to give back to his community by working in a neighborhood garden and providing cooking services for one of our meal programs. This grant will allow us to expand these services with a racial equity lens and target the specific needs of our diverse community. The City of New Orleans champions the LEAD program and will continue to try and identify and dedicate resources to this program, because what we know is it both helps our most vulnerable population and our law enforcement officers by providing an alternative tool in our toolbox to arrest. Because in the City of New Orleans, public safety continues to be a top priority. As a part of that, community and constitutional policing, reimagining our criminal justice system, and advancing racial justice efforts as well, taking a holistic approach towards public safety, because what we know in New Orleans is, public safety has to have taken a public health approach in it. So thank you again to the U.S. Conference of Mayors and to Target for allowing us to accept this award, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jabari. Let's give that brother another round of applause. He had to pinch hit and step in, and I think he did a magnificent job. Really appreciate that. The mid-sized city grant is awarded to Irving, Texas, where it will be used to expand a successful program that brings officers to minority-owned venues to discuss local issues and concerns. Mayor Rick Stoffer was unable to join us. However, he did provide us with this videotaped message. Please enjoy.
Irving Mayor Rick Stoffer, and on behalf of the Irving City Council and myself, I want to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors for this $100,000 grant for our program, Shop Talk. We're so excited about how this has helped our community and brought our community together. We look forward in the future to using these dollars for more benefit for our African American community.
Hi, I'm Officer John Plunkett with the Irving Police Department. Shop Talk was started in 2016 in Irving, Texas, because we saw that there was a need to bridge the gap between the African American community and the police department. So we started going into the different shops here in Irving so that we could build the relationships here in Irving between the residents and the police departments. One thing that we realized, certain residents and communities wouldn't come to the police department, so we started going to them. We are so happy in Irving to take this here program outside of Irving and take it on a national level, because there is definitely a need. So thank you very much for the recognition.
Our Shop Talk program was recognized in 2019 by Attorney General William Barr as an innovative program in community policing. Currently, over 30 shops participate, and the program has expanded to salons as well. In 2021, the program expanded even more and added Hispanic-owned shops. More than 100 IPD officers support this program, including all ranks from new recruits all the way to the police chief. Shops and PD have partnered together additionally to host back-to-school events, such as providing school supplies and haircuts to students. In partnership with the Irving Library, books have been placed in the shops to help enhance learning.
This is Chief Derek Miller of the Irving Police Department. We would like to thank you for this grant. With these funds, we're going to be able to enhance this program even more. We'll be able to reach out to more shops and salons. We'll be able to have more events within our community. And we'll be able to better market those events. This program is bringing everyone together in our city. Thank you.
Amazing. And finally, the small city category recipient is Central Falls, Rhode Island, where they will use the grant to operate a youth mentorship program. Here to accept the grant and tell us more is Mayor Maria Rivera.
Good morning. Buenos dias. It's so nice to be here with all of you today. Thank you, Target, and thank you, U.S. Conference of Mayors, for joining me in empowering so many young ladies with this grant. As Rhode Island's very first Latina mayor and our city's first female mayor, I've been so moved. Thank you. I've been so moved by the young students in our city, particularly young girls, who have made a connection to me in my office because they too can see themselves in my seat. This has inspired me to do more to engage our students and youth with opportunities that will stick with them for life. It's no secret that women, girls, and particularly those of color lack access to high-quality mentoring relationships for many reasons. Even more disheartening, our high school students are graduating at much lower rates than their suburban peers, many of which are English language learners, extremely low income, living without adequate housing and food security, or face challenges associated with being undocumented. Together with our police chief, Colonel Anthony Roberson, who has done an outstanding job expanding community policing to the whole department, and other nonviolence initiatives to our entire department, this year we led the Leading Ladies Initiative. This year, this initiative will bring together 20 to 25 leading professional mentors, from statewide elected officials to corporate CEOs to female police officers and other leading ladies who are matched one-on-one with a very special high school student from our city who could use a mentor. Our youth deserve to see beyond poverty and limitations and have incredible opportunity at their fingertips. The participating teens will be given advice on building leadership skills, critical thinking, sound decision-making, goal setting, and personal accountability, all while raising important awareness of and the confidence to navigate racist and other hurdles that they will most likely face and overcome along the way. Our leading ladies will also take our teenagers shopping for workplace-appropriate clothing and enjoy a local restaurant meal where they can bond, ask questions, and have space for safe, open dialogue. And this year, we'll be taking our girls shopping to Target, which is our way of giving back to Target for this grant. In the next year, we'll be hosting 4 leading ladies groups, each with 20 to 25 mentors matched one-on-one with a high school student. This program will give them outstanding confidence, unique experience, invaluable relationships, and scholarships. Students will also receive a special certificate and support on ways to add this unique leadership development program to their resume. I'm proud to say that this program will now be offered to young boys as well. With this award, we will now have the opportunity to offer financial literacy, which I have partnered with a bank who is willing to open up bank accounts for all of the students and match the amount we want to open up that bank account for them with. Civic engagement, thank you. Civic engagement, leadership skills, public speaking, resume writing, and college career day. I'd like to thank again our grant sponsor, Target, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, for this incredible connection, and to all of the mayors here for your hard work and dedication to our communities. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Rivera, and congratulations. So let's give it up one more time for today's grant recipients. A huge round of applause for them. And again, to all of you, there are so many amazing programs that are happening in all of your communities. So once again, please go to the website and just get inspired by the great work happening in your communities and use that to continue to propel progress. So in addition to, again, all the best practices that are happening across the country, we really want you to think about next year. I'm really pleased to announce that Target has expanded this grant program into 2023. And we'll begin accepting applications early next year. So if you're going onto the site and talking to last year's winners and this year's winners, hopefully it will encourage you to begin the work in your communities or build on that great work that's already happening and get ready to apply for next year's program. Really, by working together to achieve racial equity and social justice, we can create an inclusive economy and society, moving our communities and our country forward by offering opportunity and progress for all Americans. So once again, on behalf of the entire Target team, thank you once again for your tireless commitment to service and partnership. We really appreciate everything that you do. We know you don't do it for the awards and the accolades, but we see you, we value you, we respect you, and we know how hard your jobs are, and we are very grateful for what you do every single day. God bless.
It's now my pleasure to welcome the new chair of the National Endowment for Arts, Maria Rosario Jackson. We all appreciate the support NEA gives our local arts programs and our own Mayor's Institute on City Design program. This is her first time meeting with the mayors, so please give her a warm welcome.
So good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm delighted to be with you today and grateful to the conference organizers for inviting me to share some thoughts with you. Mayor Suarez, Mayor Shivi, Tom Cochran, Tom McLennan, thank you for your leadership. Mayors, I'm grateful to you and inspired by what you do every day. As leaders and stewards of the places we call home and the places that shape us, thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for the continued partnership with the NEA. We have an extraordinary collaboration that dates back to 1986 when the Mayor's Institute on City Design was first founded, and I'm grateful for the leadership of MICD under Trinity Simons. I'm especially happy to connect with alumni of the Mayor's Institute on City Design and reconnect with many mayors who I've met while traveling in my first few months as chair for the National Endowment for the Arts. If you haven't been a part of the MICD magic, I invite you to do so. I'm very proud and honored to have been appointed by President Biden to serve as the 13th chair of the NEA. I've taken this position at a time that is extraordinary. While this time is without question challenging, it is also full of promise and opportunity. The last couple of years have caused us to stretch, rethink, and reorganize how we work and how we care for each other. Yesterday, I had the good fortune of spending some time with Mayor Shivi and some of her team, seeing up close the roles of the arts in Reno. And the afternoon was inspiring. It offered a better understanding of how NEA grants and distribution of American Rescue Plan resources have hit the ground, helping to bolster a hard-hit cultural sector, making a difference in the local economy, in the community's health and well-being, creating meaningful civic spaces that bring people together, and creating outlets for people's creativity, amplifying the creative pulse of the city and providing evidence of its vitality, its history, and its promise. For the better part of 30 years, my work has been at the intersection of arts and comprehensive community development. Urban planning is my root field. And early in my career, I was sometimes discouraged from my focus on arts and culture. And I would have well-meaning colleagues say, you want to improve neighborhoods, address poverty, racism, create opportunity for upward mobility. Why are you doing this arts and culture stuff? And they would say that to me as if I was off mission. And the questions annoyed me, but I remained committed. And I didn't have the words early in my career to explain. And eventually, I found the words. And what I've been able to say for many years now is that if you look around the world and throughout the ages, in strategies to disempower, the first thing that is tampered with is one's ability to make sense of the world, to ask questions, to have expressive lives that encourage connection, to have access to inspiration that encourages innovation. And these are the things that we do and we have through art. So I ask, if it's so important and powerful that these things have to be tampered with in order to control or oppress, then why don't we think of the arts as core to building and strengthening? Questions about why I wasn't focused exclusively on housing or economic development or public health or food insecurity, those also bothered me because I didn't see the arts as existing in a silo, separate from these issues. What I know for sure is that at their most impactful, arts and design are often woven throughout what I think of as our civic infrastructure. You know, those mechanisms and arrangements that we rely on to care for each other. So it's not the icing on the cake, it's a key part of the batter. And we can't do our best work in building communities where all people can thrive without the arts. And I'm sure that if we don't recognize this, we'll stay stuck. So in addition to understanding the arts as an economic engine and as critical to a well-rounded education, as central to our health and well-being, I think we also have to understand the power of the arts in this moment in helping us to reframe, retool, and repair. And I see reframing as understanding things differently, thinking outside of the box in ways that lead us to different solutions. The notion of retooling, to me, has to do with devising new ways of working that tap into our full power, head, heart, and hand, intellectually, emotionally, physically. We need to do this so that we can do the work of repair that's so desperately needed, and in some cases has been needed long before the pandemic and our experience of recent years. We need imagination, creativity to help us to imagine policy, to create programs, to help us think about what cities and communities need to look like and how they should work in order to move forward. So recognizing artists, designers, cultural organizations as players in how we go about building healthy, opportunity-rich communities is critical now. I think artists, designers, culture bearers are part of your community's natural resources and important drivers of equity. With all of this in mind, the NEA is helping to build strong arts and cultural ecosystems that help all Americans have artful lives. And those healthy ecosystems will increasingly advance connections between the arts and other sectors: economic development, health, education, transportation, public safety, environment, among others. The NEA is working to help us accept the invitation as we recover to not necessarily just do the same thing we've always done and resist the impulse to snap back to business as usual. And not heed the lessons of the past couple of years. So in closing, I believe that at its best, the NEA is not only a grant maker, which might be what you know it for primarily, but it is also a convener, a collaborator, a thought leader, a catalyst, and an amplifier. It's a national resource and a key partner with you in building healthy, just, opportunity-rich communities. So mayors, you are visionary leaders with the greatest proximity to the communities we want to see thrive. You set the course for what will happen, and the ability to do your best work relies on summoning the imagination and creativity necessary to get us unstuck. The NEA and the cultural sector are your strong allies, and I hope you will see us that way. I'm grateful for the NEA's long connection to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, excited and deeply inspired by what we can do together, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. I'm excited for what's next in the partnership between the conference and the NEA. Coming up at 11:45, mayors, you will be in the unenviable position of having to choose between our electric vehicle forum in Naples 6 and our home ownership forum in Naples 7. You can't go wrong either way. Once those panels conclude, we'll look forward to hosting all of you back in this very ballroom for our plenary lunch at 1 p.m. Until then, this meeting is adjourned.